Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Good evening, and welcome to Vigilant Broadcasting, the station of opportunity, presents The Author's Corner, with your host, author Kimberly McLemore, as she welcomes her guests into the studio to discuss excerpts of their book.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Author's Corner. I am your host, author Kimberly McLemore, and thank you for tuning in tonight to my show on our new platform, iHeart Radio. Tonight we have two amazing guests in store for you. Let me take a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about myself and the purpose of the show. Of course, we're on a new year, so hey, Happy New Year to everybody. We're in 2020, so we got some great, amazing new authors available for this year. But, you know, as an author myself, I have a few books. I have How to Be a Success by Just Being You, Are You Living or Existing? The Pros and Cons of Balancing Life, and I am the 2019 ILA Award Author of the Year for Social Awareness for my book, Memoir Deception of the Heart, A Relook into Domestic Violence. I am also the CEO of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, the host of the podcast, Your Resource for Success, also on iHeartRadio, and the founder of Author Kimberly M. McLemore, LLC. The purpose, of course, of this platform is to provide you with new and existing authors an opportunity to tell us about their story, promote their books, tell us if they have any events or speaking engagements, and of course, we want to know where we can get a copy of the book. But let me tell you about my first special guest. His name is Dayron Colon, better known as D.L. Colon, author of The Lost City, Blazes Inferno. D.L. Colon originally is from Puerto Rico, started writing his first novel in 2013. For D.L., writing was a learning experience because his first language is Spanish, and even though he speaks English pretty fluently, grammar is not his strong suit, but found writing has been an invaluable learning experience, helping him to broaden his vocabulary and works tirelessly to expand his grammatical knowledge. It may surprise you to know that until a few years ago, he hated reading. D.L. found his love for reading and his inspiration to write after reading the book The Sumner by Gail Z. Martin. D.L. has a culinary arts degree. He currently resides in Tennessee, is a warehouse operative by day, an indie author by night, and making good use of his culinary arts degree every day because it's something he loves. But there's another interesting note about D.L. He also is a gamer at heart and got the idea for his first book, The Lost City, Drake's Revenge, from playing video games and plans on, of course, continuing the saga, The Lost City, fully to its conclusion. So without further ado, let me help me welcome to my platform my special guest, author Dayron D.L. Colon. Hello, D.L. How are you this evening?
Hello. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I know you're nervous. We talked a few minutes ago before we got on. Okay, it's time to breathe. It's going to be okay. We have some wonderful people out there listening to you, and I want everybody to know that we want to definitely make D.L. Colon because it's his first interview, and I am so excited that I am the first person to have that he's on my show for the year, so that's even more special. So D.L., why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit more about who you are, besides what I've already read?
Well, especially most of what I have already said, but it's just music. Also, a little bit of a side note, music has been a big part of my life. So it's one of the things I like to use when I write, and something that inspired me to keep getting better every day.
Mm-hmm. And so how long have you been in Tennessee? Yes. How long have you been in the U.S.? Because I know, like I said, you're in the U.S., obviously, you're in Puerto Rico, but how long have you been living in your current residency?
Officially 5 years.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. So you obviously have been around for a while, and like you said, you are improving consistently. You enjoy music, you're in culinary arts, and you're an author, and you're not just a 1 or 2 book author. You actually have a huge series of books. But the thing that interests me about you is that how did you go from culinary arts, because the love of making food, into all of a sudden being an author? And I know part of it is the video games, but what truly inspired you to come up with all of these ideas, and you're so talented. So what inspired you?
So during my high school years, I guess you could call it, I thought to myself a lot. It was one of those things that I would watch something and I would like, they could take a different route. They could just do it this way, do it another way. And I have many stories in my head that I always thought about. I never actually put down in paper. During one of my classes, for one of my final tests, I had to write something, and I kind of provide a little bit of a general story for the teacher, and that kind of paved the way until later on 2013, when I first decided to sit down and actually read a book. And right after that, it just clicked.
Mm-hmm. So what do people say when you say that I'm an author? Or do you tell many people that you're an author?
Well, in my kind of work, in terms of working as a warehouse employee, you get to meet a lot of different people. They got different skills, or they actually done a lot of things in their life. Mm-hmm. But I'm one of those persons that keep to himself. So when I actually start talking to somebody and they find out that I'm a indie author, at first they don't believe it.
Right.
So I'll usually have to use my Amazon page. It's like, here you go, This is living proof
that you exist, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's, I think that a lot of times, as authors, and, like you say, it's not something we just go out and just scream, ooh, I'm an author today, everybody needs to know. But it is amazing when you do start talking to people and you have that start to get that little bit of comfort zone there, that you realize that you have so much to share. And you do find sometimes you have other things in common with people. And, and like I said, even those who don't believe, you always have to make them make them into a believer, but that's okay. Being an author, I have found, has been very inspirational in so many other ways, because as what you have done is you're kind of tying it in with what you do daily, whether it's in your personal or professional life. And the good thing about what you were doing is the thing that I loved when I was reading your bio earlier is that how it made you grow as an individual. Like you said.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit BMWUSA.com for details.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Your strong suit is not writing, but you have found that being able to do what you're doing, it's really expanded you in so many different ways. So talk about a little bit, I guess, about those experiences. I'm sure, growing up and being that you said you're not, English is not your first language. talk a little bit of how that has pushed you even more, and what you see further for yourself as far as the writing and stuff.
Well, for one, I'm gonna finish the Lost Cities franchise, since it's so far it's the book that I'm promoting today is actually the fourth book of the series. I have another one in line to finish the main storyline, and a couple more to finish it off. But I have many other stories that I have started, but I haven't actually touched to its fruition. But when it comes to writing, it has helped me develop not only my speak in terms of speaking, it has also helped me develop on my words that I didn't know before, or how to portray or deliver a message differently instead of just the usual aspects what people use, this, that, and I could just fluently and more descriptively could provide a more intricate story.
Right. And that makes sense. It does. I mean, like you said, it is giving you the opportunity. You have the series. So tell me about the 4 series. Just, tell me about some of the other books, kind of briefly, and obviously we know he's led up to this last book, The Lost City Blazes Inferno, and you have other ones in the work, but talk a little bit about those other books prior.
Well, the first book is Drake's Revenge. Is based on, you could call it technically an orphan, and his parents were actually captured when he was practically a baby, and he has kind of like an astral projection, and he gets to see them killed to an extent in front of him. They felt his presence before they died, and they try to stop him from going into a path of revenge. But going through that traumatic experience is not as easy for kind of anybody to just say, no, I'm not doing that. So he decided to go in a path of revenge, trying to avenge the death of his parents. And you see how he progressed through the story and how he come to realize that not everything is just revenge.
Right. Okay.
So the book number 2, which is King's Inheritance, is based on Norjet King. He's one of the friends from Drake. On the first book, he has to leave because his powers are going out of control and go back to his home country, which in this case will be Puerto Rico. And he has to come into his inheritance to find out why his powers are going out of control and what he needs to do to fully embrace the future that is awaiting him once he claims his inheritance. The third book is The Champions of Darkness. Is based on hell. It's about what the kind of mindset the villain has, instead of just giving you only a concept of the heroes all this time where they always win and all that. I choose to provide different points of view, and in this case, The Champions of Darkness is focused on hell, how Lucifer is trying to gather her own team to face the team that is defeating her champions on Earth.
Okay. Wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And obviously now Blazes Inferno is based on
and hold that thought, because I'm going to let you talk about that. I don't want you to jump right into that one because we're going to really get into that book here shortly. But what I want to ask you is that, have you had the opportunity or have you done any speaking engagements? Do you go out and, get signed, do any book signings and so forth? Because you have an amazing series going on here. Where can people see you at?
That's one thing that I have tried to at least, gather and make one of those book signings, but it's either money to be able to go to the events in different states. So I haven't really had that opportunity to simply go to an event and say, okay, this is my table. I'm going to be here. You can come and visit me.
Well,
so
Go ahead.
No, so most of the book signings, I guess I could call it, I have done is just like people from work or people that I know that, hey, I have bought your book. Can you sign it? And I just, that's as far as signing something for somebody has been for me.
Okay. Well, you've got to definitely get yourself out there more, because you have got something amazing. And I mean, to sit there and actually write 4 books, and then you've got many on the way. And then, like I said, you have other books that you haven't even, nobody's heard anything about, and you haven't even touched yet, that'll be coming out later in the near future. So, somebody with such talent, you definitely need to be seen and need to be heard. I would just suggest it would be great for you to have your own author page on the social media platform, so we can follow you more. You also some other opportunities and great things to do. And what I have done, and many other authors do, is that we, get together with book clubs, because there's a lot of book clubs that enjoy reading, and having your book as a series to read would be great. And that gives you more opportunities for other things. But you definitely have an amazing talent. And, we're going to dive into your other book here in a second. But like I always tell my listeners, there are a lot of listeners that are out here that are just readers. They are writers. They love to just have the opportunity to hear about other people's stories and how they start out. And this is really important to hear. And I always like to share this, because most people don't understand it as authors. Even if you write a book, it takes time to grow. It takes time to understand how we get there. And even though we have something unique and something special, it takes time for those people to really embrace who we are and what we do as authors. And, you being a self-published author, that always makes it even harder to get out there. But, I definitely want you to think about some of those things. And for the listeners, if you are just tuning in right now, you are listening to us live. I am talking to the amazing author D.L. who we are getting ready to talk about one of his books called The Lost City Blazes Inferno. And if you haven't heard, he has more than just this one book. He is a serial.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for 2 is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Author is what I call us, ones you write more than one, and it's funny because I want to ask you, when you decided to write the first book, did you ever think that you were going to continue on?
Nope. Technically, my plan was to just kind of get that book and just, it is what it is. If it goes out, if it doesn't, I'll put it out there and not just forget about it. Like it never happened. Just like one of those bad experiences, like, okay, this is just writing. I'm not the greatest at it, so I just drop it there, and everybody will, if it works, it worked. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right. But you said and I was reading the bio that in the first book, it came out of gaming. How does gaming and that coincide with you?
Well, one of my wishes is that I would like to make my books into video games. More people would choose to make it into movies, but for me, video games has been a big part of me growing up, just as music has been. Those two tied in together. So gaming has helped me see so many stories, so many games that you actually see out there, and so many aspects that you can achieve to deliver a story. Where in movies, it's a lot more, you got like a specific time frame you can deliver a movie with. Instead of a game, you can just make a game and just have so many side quests or different aspects to actually portray and deliver the whole story without having to just use an hour and a half.
Wow. I see, I'm not a gamer, so I'm putting that together. I've definitely played a few games here or there, but definitely not one of the best gamers at all. So, I'm trying to put this all together in my head, but I like the way that you're thinking, and you're right. When it comes to movies, they're very specific in certain ways, but I believe within games that you can definitely do a lot more with that. So I think it's amazing how you went from one aspect to the next, but then you also talked about how the reading the book The Sumner by Gail Z. Martin. What was so inspiring about that book for you?
I've always been, I guess you could call it a sucker when it comes to underdog stories. And see how this character who has lost everything slowly rise up to the challenge and becomes, that will be a spoiler, but he becomes the king because he's the prince and he gets betrayed and everything's taken away from him, and he has to hide and run away because his life is in danger. And coming up with terms, okay, my life is in danger, but what's happening to the people that is waiting for their king to avenge, the king basically my parent that was killed. So I have to do something about it. And he rises up and he just delivered, I guess you could say, that aspect of it.
Interesting. Very interesting. But, like I said, the series of books that you have, I think is just amazing how you've put in all of these together. So now let's get into the book, the main book here, The Lost City Blazes Inferno. Tell the listeners a little bit about this book. And then if you would like to share or read anything that in the book, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
Okay, so Blazes Inferno is the fourth book of the series. It ties into all three of them. Blaze, you see him from the first book. He's not just a new character that I created for just this book. He's a character that you have seen to an extent grow through the series. And obviously, it was time that he get his own main book for himself. So he's a flame user. And he's able to do things that other flame users can't. So being able to control water and fire and holy water together is not something that many can do. And there is, on another certain part of the continent, or it's in the world, there's a holy flame that Gabriel is trying to get to be able to eradicate completely the human population of the earth. And the goddess of flames is calling every single fire user to where the holy flame is so they can find out who is the one that's going to control it. And that's how the story, that's how you see how he comes from Tennessee and he's already going all the way to Japan, which is where the book is based on.
Okay. Wow. Do you have something else you wanted to share?
Give me a couple seconds.
Well, while you're looking for that, I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, I know you want to turn the series into gamers, but I tell you what, I see a movie series. My mind is like movie. So.
That's not even I'm not against it. I'm actually quite okay with it. And I would like it, as long as I have like a say on it, and not just okay, I'm the director. They get to do what I want. No, as long as I can say okay, let's try to pull this, let's try to do this, have a say in the movie, and not just simply be the spectator, see how the movie is delivered. So at least I can at least say, okay, I had a hand on it. I can say I'm satisfied with it.
Right. I hear you, but yeah, I just keep thinking, boy, it would make an amazing movie. We see so many more movies that are coming out like that, where there's those series, and I definitely would be interested in seeing that. Like I said, I'm not a gamer and I have nothing against with gaming, but that would be just, an opportunity to, like I said, to keep it in the back of your mind. And who knows, it may have to be in the forefront of your mind, because you never know who may be listening to this show tonight.
Hey, that is correct.
All right. So what else did you want to share with us, D.L.?
Okay. I was gonna read a little bit of an excerpt from the book.
Okay.
It says, it has been 3 weeks since they last saw and heard of Rick Blaze. Norjat has fulfilled his word and has granted a whole city to the members of Behemoth to live with the people that he brought with him from Puerto Rico. After the defeat of Raphael, he has stopped wearing his crown, and the people are demanding their king to rise to the throne and show the promise that they heard God pronounce. But Norjat king is not ready to step out to be the king, and the people are growing restless.
Uh-oh. That's not good when people are growing restless, but that was an amazing excerpt of your book. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Why did you choose that excerpt?
To get people interested, to actually see and at least, bring excitement and expectation, to kind of get the people interested, to kind of want them to find out more.
Exactly. All right. Well, you're doing a great job. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on tonight. But before we end this interview this evening, could you tell us how we can find your books and how we can reach out to you if you're interested in getting an autograph copy? Because as most people don't know or don't realize, that when you order them directly from just Amazon, it's harder to get a autograph copy. But if you have copies of your own, then they can purchase them from you directly, and they can really get that great autograph. So please let us know how we can get a hold of you, D.L.
That is correct. I'm available in Twitter by my author name, D.L. Colon, and I'm also available on Facebook. I have my personal page and I have my author page. You can find me by D.L. Colon on my author page on Facebook, or you can find me by my name, which will be Dairon Colon. And most of my books are only available in Amazon. I'm trying to branch out and actually get into different markets. So that's in the process at the moment.
All right. Well, you're starting off great. Keep up the good work. And again, I appreciate you coming on to my show tonight. And like I said, for everyone else, you just heard live from D.L. Colon, author of The Lost City Blazes, Inferno, and he is author of 3 other books and will continue working on his series. So make sure you guys follow him. He is an amazing young man, and I love your soul. So again, like I said, thank you for coming on. And you have any last words? You're welcome. Do you have any last words for the listeners?
Well, I hope to either get a new fan base, get new fans, get new readers. If there's any question any of you would like to ask, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook. I'm always available.
All right. Again, thank you. And you also have a good rest of the evening. And give us a few minutes and we'll come back with the second half of the show. Thank you, D.L.
Thank you, Kimberly.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
I'll be with you in just a second.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Author's Corner with your host, author Kimberly McLemore.
All right, we are back for our second half. As you can hear, that our guest has already called in, but before I have her start talking, let me just do a quick introduction. So, like I said, I am author Kimberly McLemore, and we are here on the Author's Corner. And let me just introduce, like I said, my special guest, author Audrey Bell-Jenkins. She's the author of "Oops, Girlfriend, You Dropped Your Self-Worth." Audrey Bell-Jenkins is also the CEO and founder of Real Women Revealed, LLC, located in Phoenix, Arizona. Audrey is an award-winning women's support organization that educates and empowers women and teens through support groups, advocacy, mentorships, workforce professional development, sisterhood sessions, teen empowerment summits, and more. They are dedicated to inspiring women, teens to be the best they can be. So, without further ado, help me welcome to my platform, Audrey Bell-Jenkins. Hi, Audrey. How are you?
Hello, Kimberly. I am wonderful. How are you?
I am doing good. Welcome to my show. I'm so excited to have you on.
Me too. I'm super, super excited over here.
All right. Well, Audrey, could you just talk a little bit and tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, please?
Oh, absolutely. I am originally from Gary, Indiana. I lived in Southern California for many years, but I have been residing in the Phoenix area for almost 20 years. As you indicated or stated, I am the founder and CEO of Real Women Revealed. It's a women's empowerment organization and professional development organization to empower women to be the best that they can be in whatever lane that may be. I am a social worker by trade. I'm a human services advocate. Part of Real Women Revealed is the Teen Empowerment Summit. That's just another branch of Real Women Revealed to empower the teens. So we've been doing that for about 4 years. We have an annual Teen Empowerment Conference here in Phoenix. It goes wonderfully. And I just try to be an advocate. I do wear a lot of hats. I don't think I do until I have to say it.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess maybe I do.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I was just going to say I definitely am a community advocate. I serve as a social worker for the largest homeless shelter in Maricopa County in workforce development, and I serve on the City of Phoenix Human Services Commission and school board. So I just do a lot that I feel that can help my community. I should say it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting here listening to your laundry list as I'm calling. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't keep up anymore. So.
Yeah,
amazing. That is amazing. So, before we dive into the book, I always love to talk about, what people have accomplished and why they do what they do. So what inspired you to start having your own business, of course? Real Women Revealed. What does that mean? Because the title I love. So what does that truly mean?
It truly means, and really, to be very honest, it came.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for 2 is definitely costing more, Here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Well, I've always felt that I've been very authentic and very real, sometimes to a fault. And so I learned as I got a little bit more seasoned how you work on being real, because sometimes I would just let it out or just, and that just wasn't always the proper way. However, Real Women Revealed, after, about 8 years ago or so, when we started seeing a lot of reality shows and things like that. And my thought is that that's not really real, in my opinion. I mean, it could be, but it wasn't, in my opinion. It wasn't with the women that we had been gathering at my home for many years. That's kind of really where it started many, many years ago. And just my house was kind of like the party house. So after the party was when the real conversation actually started. So we talked about real life things: marriage, divorce, careers, family, hardship, and, just real things that everyday women go through. But, sometimes you can't tell we're going through so much because we look so nice on the outside. So that's kind of where Real Women Revealed developed from.
Yeah, and I love it. I love the name, and you're right. I was just listening and thinking in the back of my mind, I am so sick and tired of these so-called real live shows, because everything we see as women, I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm like, where do they come up with this idea that every time women get together, all they do is eat, drink, and fight?
Right, exactly. It's like, no.
I'm like, wait a minute. And and you're right. And what I see that what they're portraying as women to be is that they're not having real conversations. And so, you're having groups like what you have, whether it started from your living room into this large business, we need to see these types of things on TV so that young women and grown women, because there are many grown women who believe that they're grown, don't really understand, what a real conversation is, right?
Right.
And so I love that, how you came up with this and put your chops together. So talk a little bit about, what do you talk about when it comes to empowering those women and especially those teens in your support groups?
Well, with the teens, I like to listen, and that's kind of how I started. How the annual Teen Empowerment Summit, started about 4 years ago. It's because I was just really listening to a group of high school girls here in Phoenix, and I was just like, really? That's really going on? I mean, I'm not oblivious. I was in the in crowd or whatever you want to call it in high school, but what they were talking about, it just blew my mind. And I was like, really? And so I said, well, we need to talk about this. We need to know, what's going on. How can we help you and empower you? So we have a self-esteem workshop. We've had entrepreneur workshops. We had teen mothers workshop. This year in September, 2019 rather, we incorporated a civic engagement a workshop where we had one of our House of Representatives voting come out, him and his wife, and do a simulation about voting for bills, how you get a bill passed or how to vote against it. We just really try to empower them to find out through listening what is it exactly they want to do. Because sometimes we could think what they may want to do, but after we listen, we figure it out. But just really empowering them and letting them know they have a safe space. We do drug prevention workshops. My husband is a licensed counselor. So we just talk about a plethora of topics to go through, just just to empower them. Sex education, not necessarily we go too much into that, but we have vendors where they can get information that they can take back to their parents, that they can have an adult with them for parental guidance in that. But we have vendors and food and just really a good time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing I'm listening to when you said, the thing that perked my ear was that the conversations that you were hearing, you said just kind of blew your mind. And I'm sitting here thinking I could imagine the things that these kids are dealing with today versus what we had to deal with or even think about. I know growing up, I'm sure is not the same. And
yeah.
And I just, it just behooves me to think that these kids are growing up so fast. They're seeing so much and hearing so much that how do they have time to be kids?
Exactly.
Or teenagers.
Yeah, or teenagers, and really have fun. I had fun in high school. I mean, there was different things, but I had fun. It just seemed so different. So I just wanted them to be able to have, their own platform and let it be all about them. And, a lot of kids really do open up and share things. My husband did a group, as I was telling you, he's a licensed counselor, and it was kids in there who, actually raised their hand when no one was looking, that they had thought about suicide or they're depressed or, so we just wanted to have a safe space and some professionals, experts there also in the room, that can maybe be able to target those individuals that may have some issues or challenges that want to talk about things afterwards.
Right. And like I said, a safe place that, they definitely can feel that they can share because, I'm sure being at home is not always the place, not that it's not safe, but it's not always the place that people are willing to open up. And that's why a lot of times these young ladies turn into, as a woman, they are constantly carrying that load with them because there was no support. So, your organization is amazing. And, we need many more, organizations that truly understand and have real conversations versus the nonsense that they think that they're seeing on TV is the right way to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's not.
And the Teen Summit is for girls and boys. That part of it is where we can incorporate not just girls, but it's girls and boys for the Teen Summit.
That's good to know. That's good to know because, you can teach the women and these young teens, but then when they go back to, to talk to their friends with their male friend parts, or if they're dating or whatever the case may be, how are they going to understand if it's only just the women learning?
Right. Exactly.
There's
and you
no
brought
balance.
up a really good point I just wanted to touch on really quickly because you're asking the conversation. But when you said sometimes it may not be a safe space or a space at home, and that's what I found with my women groups, what I call them my sisterhood sessions that we'll have, is not everybody was afforded to know what sisterhood looks like. Even working in social work, when you grow up in...
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit the Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Chaos, you live your life in chaos until you know better. You know, you do better, as Maya Angelou said. So what happens is if you don't know how to be a good friend or a sister girlfriend or whatever, if you never saw that, you've never had a template, then you just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And
that's right.
And that's what we try to help, you know, with the show. Hey, this is another safe place. We're all sisters. We all have the same. We know what's going on. We may not look like it. Don't let my tagline. Don't let the stilettos fool you, because I've been through some stuff too. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's keeping it real. That's real conversation there. Absolutely. All right. And and I'm telling people, look, if you just now tuning in, we're gonna have my little break here, as I always call it. You know, if you're just tuning in and you have not heard Miss Audrey Bell-Jenkins, y'all have missed out. But you can go back and listen after the show, because like most people don't know, if you don't know, we are live here on the Author's Corner. So now I really want to dive in the book. First of all, the title, Oops, Girlfriend, You Dropped Your Self-Worth. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this book.
Yes, this book, I've been holding on. It is a nonfiction influence, so I may have embellished on some things, but the depth of the story, they are all true. And it's just 8 short stories about women who drop their self-worth. The cover of my book, you kind of see a crown, you know, falling down. That's what happens. Sometimes we drop our self-worth. It kind of goes to, without giving so much of it, but it goes to how as women, and men too, but I'm just talking about women, how sometimes we put ourselves on the back burners to elevate somebody else, because we're nurturers, we're mothers, we want to help you, we want to get you where you need to be, and sometimes we wind up putting our goals and dreams and aspirations on the back burner while we've lifted someone else up, and now they've moved on without us.
Ooh, boy, we could preach and talk about this one all night long. You know, and it's a constant struggle. It is a constant struggle with women. I don't care how many years you've been on this earth. We go through that process consistently. And, you know, I've even found myself here more recently constantly feeling and going through that. I guess you want to call it a growth spurt or change. And, so you find yourself constantly pouring into others, constantly helping others. And you realize you open up your eyes one day and say, what happened? What happened to me continually moving forward in what I want to do and live my dreams for? And as usual, as nurturers, as you said, we just, we're pulled and we're drained, into that. It's because that's just who we are. But in your stories, what is it that if you can give us one of your stories that really stands out that, you talk about, and when it comes to us women letting go and dropping our self-worth?
And it's really several, but, it's a woman in the book who was really thriving. Well, couple, maybe a few, thriving in their careers. I mean, just really blossoming and, full of life. And sometimes others may not want us to blossom as much or shine so brightly. Sometimes people want to dim our light. And then we start feeling guilty because our light is shining so bright. So that's a little bit about some of the stories too, where the light was shining so bright for these women in their careers or in their goals, and then they felt that they had to dim their light to satisfy someone else. Because that's because of their insecurities. It never was about anything we were doing. It was their insecurities. But again, in a relationship, in a partnership, you feel that, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I always say, we try to, not collaborate. We try to, can't think of the C word right now, but it's like it's compromise is what I'm thinking of. We want to compromise, but in compromise, in my opinion, everybody's getting something to compromise. I don't want to compromise and I'm left out.
Right.
I want to compromise and be in too, that it makes me feel okay with that compromise. But yeah, that's with several of the ladies. Sometimes they just want to dim their light. In another story, we want a partnership so bad because loneliness sometimes can be hard on us. And sometimes we put, what we put aside our things that we want in life because of loneliness. So we'll sacrifice things, we'll compromise for the look of the public, for the look of family. I'm married, but are you really married? Or are you happily married? So sometimes we put on because loneliness plays a huge part, and I've heard it from women so much. We forget about our must-haves, or I don't want this in a relationship, or I don't want this in a relationship. And then when you feel that you've been lonely or not in a relationship for a while, then you let all of that go out the window. What you thought, what you wouldn't compromise for, now you're compromising.
Exactly. And oh my gosh, I mean, all the things that you just talked about, it's that constant real woman, like you just said earlier, real stories about real women, real issues. And I think the thing that really stands out to me is that the issues that we have, we bring them completely on ourselves. Like you said, to appease to other people, so that they won't feel left out. And I guess the number one question is why. It's like, do we really have the answer to why we sabotage ourselves sometimes in order to, appease to other people?
That's a good question. And I think that most of it is a lack of self-worth. That's why we drop our self-worth, because we don't have it, or we're looking for, or if it's pushed so far down, or we've never seen it. Because when we grow up, there's templates. I mean, I had a template for my mother. There's some things that I was like, oh, when I get grown, I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to do that with my kids. I'm not going to have.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
A horrible childhood or anything, but it's just a template. So a strong mother going to work, providing for her family, that's what I want to do. So we have a template, I think, and we use that template, we tweak it, we make it better as we grow up, I guess. But I think it starts with a lack of self-worth. And when we have to get into why, we get in, like you were saying, why are we appeasing someone else and not ourselves? Because appeasing someone else, we think is making us feel good to keep them around or whatever that reason is. But we gotta be happy with ourselves first. Okay with ourselves first. You know, I can go eat by myself. I can go on vacation, whatever you want to do, because no one is really going to make you happy if you're not happy with yourself. I just believe that.
Absolutely. And I agree. And you're right. You can't, like I say, like we were talking earlier, you really can't pour into other people and help them if you don't know who you are. And I think that's, like I said, that's a journey that we all go through constantly, because we grow. You know, we don't stay, you know, 5 forever, 10 forever, you know, 20 forever. You grow as an individual. So as you're growing, you're going to learn more about yourself, and you're going to realize those are the things that you used to do. Now this is where you're at. And I like the fact that you talked about the template, and you're absolutely right. Not everybody calls it that, but that's exactly what it is. When our families and the people that we're surrounded by, we learn from them first. And then obviously you can obviously learn from other people. And so when that template is set, that's when you have to determine, do you break off from some of that template, or are you going to continue to stay there knowing that's not who you are?
Right. Yeah. So it's all about, like, and I just truly believe it, like I said, with social work and having, you know, that knowledge. Sometimes people they don't know what they don't know because they've never seen it. And sometimes we, you know, and we got to call our own self on the carpet, or our girlfriends on the carpet. Sometimes we know better. Absolutely. we know better. We got degrees on the wall and things. Sometimes we just know better, but it's just because we're lonely. Sometimes it's pure, I know I shouldn't be with such and such, or I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm just going to do it because, you know, I want somebody around, or I'm just going to do it for a little while, you know, all that stuff to try to, you know, make us feel better. But we know it. Sometimes we just know it's not right, and we just shouldn't do it.
Exactly. Because it'll take away all that pain. But I think a big part of it is dealing with that pain, you know, dealing with whatever it is that's bothering you, that will continually have you go back to something or keep doing something that you know you do not really want to do. And and that's why having programs like yours, and even just reading that book, it can bring out so much more of people just thinking for themselves. Realizing, you know, just realizing that even if you don't want to talk to somebody, you can sit down and think. You can write out your ideas, you know, keep track of what it is that you're going through, and go back and reevaluate who you are.
Journaling,
yeah, journaling. Exactly, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I know.
So, yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but because with the book, what I'm happy with about the book, you know, because I may think, hey, it's the best thing since sliced bread or whatever,
right.
But what I heard is that younger women, like 22 or whatever, was like, oh my God, this is so true. Then I had older women, seasoned women, over 50, over 60, say, hey, what are you doing writing a book about me? You know, family. So people from all genres, or all ages or demographics say, yeah, I get it. I don't care if your paycheck is $200,000 a year or $35,000 a year. It's all us.
Exactly.
So the price tag doesn't matter when it comes to some things in the inside about us.
Right. You couldn't have said that better. Yeah, it's definitely not about, you know, who's the best or who, like I said, has the best, how many degrees hanging up on the wall. We're still human beings. And at the end of the day, we all have something that we're dealing with. It's just how you react to that, you know, and how long you're going to let that linger inside of you. Yeah. And then you keep wondering why you're having the same problem over and over. It gets to a point where it becomes more common sense versus worrying about, you know, who you're talking to or how many degrees or what doctor you're going to sit down and deal with. And I think that's a lot of times what people don't really want to face is, like I said, looking in that mirror and answering those hard questions is the hardest part to face than having to sit there and have somebody ask you those questions. So
self-reflection, that's a hard deal.
Exactly.
But we have to do it because sometimes what I found out too, just what I want to say and writing the book and then having the sessions, some women are looking for the night on what they call the shiny knight on a white horse or whatever you call it. They want to be just lifted up and carried away, and it doesn't necessarily happen like that, because once you get out of your own self-pity, then maybe somebody will carry you away. But when you're in pity, you're going to get carried away by the wrong horse.
Exactly. You got that right. And then some. Yeah. So
Right.
definitely not the way to go. But, I like that. I like the way that you're, you share that and you think that, because you're right. People, sitting in that self-pity, and we, like I said, we've all been through some things. I've been through some things, and I can, and the biggest question I always get after, for most people who don't know, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and it's amazing how many people will ask me the question of, well, how can you get up and continue on? Well, how can you just live and every day after what you've been through? What am I supposed to do? And it just amazes me when I get those type of questions, because I'm like, well, I'm here, so I'm just supposed to stop living because of a circumstances? No, that's where, people, if I decide to stay in that world of self-pity of why me, I would not be the person I am today, And that's the key. You learn to, whatever you're going through in life, and when you start to really truly face everything, you start to understand who you are as an individual, what was going on with that other person. You can't answer why they do what they do, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to know how to move forward. And so, programs like what you have and the book that you're talking about, like I said, first of all, the name of the book just really, it opens you up to wondering, what is she really talking about? And that's what I love. And like I said, if you go back and review the cover of it, it really does start to balance it out and to make you kind of say, I need to get up inside this book and see what's really going on.
Well, I wanted to say, too, thank you for sharing that about yourself, because in social work, again, I get a lot of that, and it's great to let what you said, what I heard you say basically was that you didn't let anybody really take your power away of who you wanted to be. So I appreciate you sharing that. So when people listen that's went through what you went through, just the tidbit of what you said was, powerful.
Thank you. And that's, a part of what I do. And obviously this isn't really about me tonight, but, at the end of the day, there's that common interest that we always talk about, and, that we have with women and understanding what people are going through in their stories and then their lives. Because what you said in the beginning is that what a lot of people don't understand is that this is the shell of who we are. And, like this, because they see you in those stilettos and they think, oh, life is so perfect. They don't understand we all have been through something, but we had to uplift ourselves back up to realize that we are worthy. And that's the things that most, men or women don't understand. And, if you don't talk about some of your experiences and you can never move forward. You'll always constantly be looking in the rearview mirror wondering, well, why me? And, why do these things keep happening? And that's not how life is supposed to be. Obviously, I will never be able to explain why this individual did what he did and felt that, I deserve that, but it doesn't matter anymore. You have to forgive, you have to learn to move on. Obviously, I moved on and have done other things in order to make sure that would not happen to me again. But at the end of the day, it's truly about knowing who you are and how to move forward, as an individual, as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter, all of those things. And, so that's what your programs provide, and even your book, because I said, the reading the title of it and hearing the story of the background of truly how all this kind of comes together for you, and understanding that we all have real stories, but if you don't share those stories and those experiences, we're never going to know.
We're never going to know. And just talking through the safe spaces and having people who care about you and get it out and move on. Regret will eat you up. I went through a not a long period, but I look back on my life as, we look back and things, and, I would just be so regretful because I didn't do it that way, because I didn't do this. And, I would really get down on myself because I was so regretful, but I had to push through the regret to, because I can still do something. I can still, you think about, I should have done that when I was 20. I should have done that when I was 25. But I did not do do that, you know. Why didn't I know better? You know, but you had to push through that. But I know I went through that. Regret would just kind of it would just almost say, I got to go to bed because I'm getting swallowed in regret. So you just have to move forward. You really have to understand that you are a queen. The crown can get dusty, but we just dust it off and we keep moving.
Absolutely. I love that. I love what you just said. That crown can get dusty. You dust it off and you just keep moving. And if for people, if we had another hour or two on this show, Girl. We could tell some stories, okay?
There will be time for that. Yeah, next time. But this has really been great. Thanks for this platform for new authors. That's wonderful. That is really wonderful.
Well, you're welcome, and it's my pleasure because, you know, as being an author, I understand how it felt. And it's like, you know, you start to realize that you're obviously not the only one, but it's like, how do you stand out? How do you get the opportunity to share your story with thousands and thousands of people? And, you know, if it wasn't for my son, I probably would not have these podcast shows, but he was the one that said, Mom, you got to do this. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So, had to get out of my comfort zone, but now it's the one thing that I love the most. Yeah.
See? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. But Audrey, it has been so great. But before you get off, please tell everybody how they can find your books, get a hold of you. If you have any events or anything come up, please let us know.
Okay, yes. Real Women Revealed. I am listed on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as Real Women Revealed. My website is realwomenrevealed.org. You can find me there. I am in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I have my 6th annual Celebration of Women's Conference coming up in March for International Women's Month, Women's History Month here in Phoenix. And you can get the book on the website on realwomenrevealed.org.
Awesome. Again, like I said, it has been such a pleasure. But before you go, do you have any last words for my listeners?
Last words for it's about you find a circle of positive people and be unapologetic about what you will not let in your life. The No Drama, the Mary J. Blige song, all of that. Be unapologetic about it. It doesn't mean being rude or nasty. It just means that this is how I want to live my life. And I have to be unapologetic about keeping mess out of my life.
Amen. I couldn't have said that better. All right, you guys heard it. You heard it live from Audrey Bell-Jenkins, author of Oops, Girlfriend, You Dropped Your Self-Worth. It has been a phenomenal night. Earlier, I had an amazing young man, D.L. on. He is an amazing serial, as I call it, writer, and he had his amazing story. And again, thank you so much, everybody else. Thank you, everybody else. We're here on a monthly basis, but as I said earlier, the Author's Corner has now been moved to a new platform, iHeart Radio, and we are on 8 other platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and the list goes on. So there's no reason that you can't reach out and find our show and listen to these amazing stories. But until next month, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again soon. And good night.
Good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll be back next month on Friday evening at 7 p.m. EST with 2 more amazing guests. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Periscope at Author Kimberly McLemore and at Talk Radio TV Network, LLP.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.